Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is station NUTZ from the campus of the University of Minnesota. We are very privileged this afternoon to have with us a very profound scholar from Bohemia. His name is Professor Thomas, I believe I can't remember the last name, sir, Rechavler? Professor Thomas Rechavler, who is going to speak to us on a variety of subjects of his own knowledge and understanding and insight that he has gained through the years of study in various universities across the world. Most recently, he studied at the University of Hong Kong, and from there he also studied at the University of Cyprus. And from there he also went on to a number of other places. I believe the other one was Brandon Junior High School, as I recall it, and then Millerville, as I recall it too. And so with all the background, we feel that we will be very much edified, and we will, in just one moment, be giving you Professor Rechavler. Professor Rechavler.
Thank you very much. Yes, it is a great privilege to be here with you people at this fine university this afternoon to speak to you of some of the outstanding achievements that I have brought to humanity. I have been known in many circles as being a genius and a scholar because of my vast knowledge from the reservoir of just complete learning, actually. Some of the various things that I've seen in my travels throughout the world have been old people who have worked with educators. For instance, at Cambridge University, I worked with Mr. Thomas Macaulay, who was an expert in working with animals, birds, and so forth. He has actually found out why the screaming scarlet macaw, which is a violent and treacherous bird in Honduras, has often been screaming. And this is due to the fact that this bird actually had something caught in his throat at this time. It took a lot of people a long time to figure this out. But the screaming scarlet macaw is no longer screaming because this item in his throat actually got embedded within his esophagus and down into his thyroid. And from that point, it caused him to leave us, and therefore he's no longer around. This bird, by the way, is extinct at this time. Also, in the Philippines, we ran into many other amphibious animals. Some of these animals have had lots of diseases which have been caused by eating improper foods. We've learned that many of these birds and so forth have not washed their food before they've eaten, and therefore have met, of course, violent death. And one of these was the hepasod lizard. The hepasod lizard, of course, is known among many educators as one of the extinct, animals, or I should say, not really animals, but amphibious animals that have lost their lives through inflamboyant attitudes. I don't know, perhaps I could just ask the announcer at this time to bring forth some of his ideas in asking me about my reservoir of knowledge. I do have quite a reservoir.
Well, we mentioned, Thomas, that you were most recently, or quite recently, at the University of Hong Kong in the port city, which is right next to China, and I don't doubt that you've picked up quite a bit of Far Eastern knowledge from the Oriental. And the Oriental mind, as we all know, is considerably different than the Occidental mind, the Western mind. And you could possibly share with our listening audience some things that you gained specifically in your studies and in your research at the University of Hong Kong.
Well, thank you very much. The backbone of my knowledge in Hong Kong probably was most flamboyant in the Belatutang range of Thailand, which is just on the other side of Hong Kong. We have hundreds of rivers there, and many of them are polluted. Ramalaya and Siam, for instance, we have a river that has a great amount of bile in it, which was caused by carelessness among these Chinese people who had very poor systems of, shall we say, well, you know what I mean, this protoza. That's the word that I was escaping, the word is protoza, which is the cause of many viruses and so forth, which is often carried by a mosquito. I met a man out there, Giovanni Grassai, who actually had studied the mosquito quite implicitly. And he has found that the mosquito stinger can penetrate the skin 3/4 of an inch. And this sometimes will cause a parasitic disease which can only be cured by a sulfa drug. Now this may all sound very complicated to you, and it certainly is. Is there any other questions that you may have?
Well, we understand that there's quite a bit of fishing being done in the Far East. The Chinese, the Japanese have always been great fishermen because they haven't been able to produce the food on the land. And I'm just wondering if you could tell us about anything to do with their fishing trade or with the type of fish that they catch or any particular kind that is caught off the coasts. Maybe you could enlighten us somewhat there, because we do know that the Far East has an unusual amount of fishing being done, and similar to the Scandinavian countries. They are also great fishermen.
Well, thank you very much. I'm glad that you brought up the subject about fishing, because I knew a gentleman who actually was an English poet by the name of Robert Herrick, who actually did a great deal of fishing among the vicious herring of the North Atlantic Ocean. This well-informed fish had thin scales with a blue-green streak. And actually, Thomas Hare was a member of the Free State of the Panama. And he had a revolutionary idea that if these fish were killed when they were 12 inches long, that they would no longer gain any more length. And this is why this particular fish has never gone any longer than 10 to 12 inches. And it can only be caused by probably irrational people who are working with 20 to 60,000 eggs in water, which is below 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Diogo Rodriguez, was often caught in these waters doing things with fish that no other people had ever thought he would. And I think this is probably the reason why this herring has never gained a great deal of weight, over 10 inches to 12 inches, because it was killed before it ever could get any farther down its way.
Well, we'd certainly be happy to have you maybe tell us about some of the other places that you've been. We mentioned that you had also been at the University of Cyprus, which is this little island northeast of Lebanon, near the country that is so much heavily involved in war between the Israelis and the Arabs. We no doubt that you met Archbishop Macarius, we would assume, there. Maybe you could tell us something about whatever you gained at the University of Cyprus.
Thank you very much. At the University of Cyprus, I gained knowledge in learning more about hogweed, which was brought forth to my attention by Mr. Hohenstaufen, who actually was a member of the medieval Germany type of academy, which was formed in 1938 to 1924. My knowledge of the Hoffenstein family actually was learned from the, oh, excuse me, I have something biting me, just a moment here. Thank you very much. We were talking about the hogweed, which is often called ragweed, and has been known in other circles as the hog's head, hog nose type of a situation. Now, in the Marriage a la Mode, which is in the Tate Gallery in London, Hogarth had a group of people who were brought together by Hudibras. Hudibras was also a member of Hog Island, where this name Hog's Head had come about. Now, Hokadaya, who was a Japanese individual and had a reservoir of knowledge, who was a scholar and a self-taught individual who would like to hang around with normal people, found that the fountain of life often came from working with Burgomaster. Burgomaster, if you're not familiar with him, was very active in the 1500s. He was very much interested in his family, especially his wife and children. They worked. Excuse me. There was something that came to my mind about this individual. He was a very humorous person. He pulled many little jokes around the house, which of course kept people in stitches. One thing was, in those days too, whether you realize it or not, they perhaps did not have oil on the table, but we often call it butter nowadays. He would pass butter, for instance, across the table to someone, and just as they were to reach for it, he would shove it violently towards them, making their thumb or whichever finger might be sticking out farther to go into the butter. And of course, this would create havoc among the people at the table. Also, another famous joke with him would be if they would have special biscuits on the table or special types of food, which would be placed upon other people's plates near him, he would say all of a sudden, "Oh, look out the window. There goes a certain kind of a sapsucker bird, a yellow-breasted sapsucker." Just as they would all look, he would, of course, take the donuts and the rolls and the various things off these people's plates and hide them in his lap. I couldn't help but laugh because this came across my mind, which, of course, is filled with a reservoir of knowledge. I could turn it back to you at this time.
Well, we were talking about your tremendous amount of research that you did at the Brandon Junior High School. And I understand that you studied magic at the Brandon Junior High School. And I'm just wondering if you could maybe communicate a little bit something to us about what you gained at this very tremendous institution of learning.
Well, thank you very much. Yes, Brandon is known in wide circles throughout the country as being a very industrious school, having a great background in magic. Now, most of my knowledge of magic has come from the witch doctor of Zululand, who wears small bottles of magic potions and animal teeth. This, of course, is very hard on the animal life in this territory because he has been has sort of a thing about busting into leopards' hearts, taking charms to the market of young men who wish to be strong as a lion, and still actually does not shower as properly and as often as he should. He's a fine-looking individual. His hair is matted and often stringy like a broom. And yet this witch doctor, Zulin, knows much about magic. There is one thing that he's often done, and this is blowing in other people's ears. He'll come up behind somebody and blow into their ears, and of course this creates an unusual type of feeling for that person who has this hot air going into his ears. They often say, "What is it?" And he'll say, "It's just the witch doctor's lung blowing into your ear." And of course he smells because he has all these bottles of magic and all these animal teeth hanging around him. But this man is intelligent. He has a reservoir of knowledge. I like to use this name reservoir because it reminds me of Zula, because he hung around this type of place very often. And he learned black magic and so forth in the early 1400s. I have a lot of other things to tell you at this time. Perhaps you'd like to ask me some more things.
Well, I wonder if we couldn't just take a bit of a break here for a few moments, and we possibly will just listen to just a little bit of recorded music while you gather some more of your thoughts.
Thank you very much.
And I think we'll try one of the Rossini Overture,
a favorite of mine,
portions. We listened to the initial portion at the beginning of this program, and we'll now listen to the second portion, which is known as the Gazda Sita.
Seta is the correct pronunciation.
Seta, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that was the Lagaza Seta, and now we probably can come back to you, Dr. Tom. We'd be certainly happy to hear more of what you have to say. It's been very informative, very evident that you are a well-read individual. I wonder if you could tell us a little bit more about your reading, and not so much of those whom you met, the research you've done, but if you could tell us from the vast array of books that you've read, you might be able to share quite a bit more with us.
Yes, I would like to comment on that because, as you probably have noticed, I am very light-complected. It looks as though I probably have never been out in the sun. This is due to the fact that I spend a great deal of my time under lights, reading books late into the evening. I have quite a knowledgeable understanding of many books that are written by educators throughout this country. There is one person that I feel has been very influential upon my bringing up, my ability to be probably one of the most brilliant people to be living at this time, and that is Ezra Meeker, who lived from 1930 to 1928. Just to pick up where we were at here just a moment ago, talking about Ezra Meeker, I would like to say that this man also possessed the quality of which you have as an announcer. Ezra Meeker was an announcer, even though many people think that radio stations are something that have just come about new at this time. I might just ask you a few questions, sir, as an announcer. I don't believe you have given the listening folks what your name is. Could you tell us what your name is?
Bob Bratt.
Bob Bratt?
Bob Bratt.
I see.
Bratt.
As a child, did people often make fun of your name as saying, "Hey, Bratt," or anything like that?
Well, not too often. I find that I guess I really was one. So,
well, thank you very much. I'm thinking about different things that may have happened in your life as an announcer. You have actually had a wide focus upon humanity in dealing with many, many people that you've interviewed, and I'd like to find out, as an educator, what your feelings are about the various people that you've interviewed. Do you feel that they all have a vast, or shall we use the word reservoir of knowledge?
Well, I guess I can say that I really found quite a few people that that are quite stupid. You know, that's right. They're quite stupid. I sit around here and I'm frankly bored to death. You know, at the kind of things they say, and well, I guess my brattiness is just coming out now.
Right, I see. Well, every person has a right to be crabby. I found that this happens to many people who are announcers because they have to put up with the various educated people who are supposed to be educated. Now, when you're on the radio, do you have to throw your voice at all? Did you ever throw your voice?
Well, the last time I threw my voice, it never came back, so I lost my job for quite a while. And yeah, that's right.
As a layman type of educator, a person who is knowledgeable in all aspects of many fields, can you, for instance, imitate old people, or can you imitate a child, or can you talk like a woman, or anything like that? I know that the public would like to know this type of thing because they never get the insight of what the real Bob Bratt is like.
No.
Well, I'll tell you, I want to say to you at this time that it has really been a pleasure for me as an outstanding educator to be interviewed by you, Mr. Bob Bratt, because of your knowledge of working with the various people throughout this community. I feel that I have brought a great deal to the people today, and with all humbleness I say that you people out there in Radio Land have probably experienced one of the highlights of your time. Thank you so very much for the opportunity. It's been a great, great privilege for me to work with you, Bob. Thank you again, and goodbye to you, the listening audience, all over this fine country of ours. Thank you.
This now brings us to the end of our afternoon with Professor Tom Machella. We're so thankful we could have him here, and we just would like to have the radio audience be sure and tune in tomorrow for another program of a similar quality. So we bid you farewell and have a good day.